Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to look at string. A string basically is a sequence of characters. The character could be a letter, number, symbols. Basically, a string is text. In Python, there are three ways to define a string. You can either use a triple quote, a double quote, or single quote. Let's look at it in actual coding. Let's look at single quote first. This is a string, single quote. So this is basically how we define a string in single quote. You put a pair of single quote and you put the data in the middle. Double quote, this is also a string. This is how we define a string in double quote. Triple quote, this is still a string. Triple quote. So these are the three different ways to define a string in Python. Now the question is, which one should we use? It depends. First, let's look at this. For example, I use a single quote. This is a, now I press enter. Oops, Python gives us a syntax error. The reason is because single quote and double quote can only be used to define a string if the string is a single line string. You cannot have a string with crossing multiple lines defined using single and double quote. However, you can do it using a triple quote, like this. This is a string, enter, crossing multiple lines, triple quote. See, now we have a valid string definition, crossing multiple lines. Okay, single quote versus double quote. Which one should we use? The rule is very simple. If the data of your string contains the character single quote, you should define it using a double quote. If the data of your string contains double quote itself, you should wrap it, you should define it using a single quote. Let's look at one example. Let's see. The content of my string, the data itself is I am happy. You notice there's already a single quote between I and am. So now if I define it using a single quote, Python is going to give me error because Python doesn't understand the syntax. It doesn't understand which quote, single quote, it should use to end the string. So what we should do here is use a double quote. I am happy. Now this is a valid string definition. So if the string data itself already contains a single quote, you wrap the string in a double quote to define it. On the other hand, if the string data itself already contains a double quote, you should define it using a single quote. For example, he said, glad to hear. Let's say this is the data of my string. Because it already has this double quote inside, now I need to use a single quote to define it, like this. Okay, so these are the different ways we can use to define string in Python. With the string defined, now let's look at what we can do with string. Before that, I need to show you how to assign variables with data. For example, I can do s equals to abc. What this does is this assigns the string abc to the variable s. So now whenever you use s, it's going to replace it with abc. For example, if I do print s, it's going to print abc to me on the screen. Okay, the first function we want to introduce is len. Len stands for length. Basically, it gives you the size of this string. For example, len s is going to give me 3 because the string s contains a, b, and c, 3 letters. If I change s to s equals to a, b, c, d, and do a len s again, it's going to give me 4 because now the string has 4 letters. Next function I want to introduce is count. C-O-U-N-T. So this is going to tell us how many times a substring appears in this string s. For example, if I do count a, it's going to tell me 1 because there's only one a in the string abc. If I change the string to A, B, C, D, A, and I do S count A again, it's going to give me 4 because now I have 4A in the string A, B, C, D, A. This is how you use a function count. Next, we can try something different. We can do string operations. String operations works crossing multiple strings. For example, I can do S plus S. Basically, it's going to join the two strings together, A, B, C plus D, E, F. This is how you use a plus. It connects two strings together and gives you a combined string. Okay, and you can also use multiply. For example, S equals to ABC. If I do S times 3, it's going to give me ABC, ABC, ABC. So it's equivalent to S plus S plus S. Next function I want to introduce is upper and lower. This is how you change the case of the letters. For example, my string is, this is a string, and I assign it to variable A. So now if I do A dot upper, it's going to return me a string with everything converted to uppercase letter. Now if I do A dot lower, it's going to give me a string with everything converted to lowercase. This is upper and lower. Next important function is replace. Basically, replace allows you to change part of the string with something else. Let's see an example. Let's say I have a string B equals to I feel sad. Now I can do B dot replace. The first parameter is the part you want to replace, and the second parameter is what you want to replace with. So now if I do a B dot replace sad, awesome, it's telling Python is telling we are telling Python we want to replace the word, the substring sad, with awesome. Now I press enter. I feel awesome. Okay, the next function I want to introduce is strip. For example, let's define a string as equal to space, 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 ABC, extra space. Okay, so this is our string S. Let's say I want to remove the leading and the trailing space. I just want to keep the ABC. What do? I can do S dot strip. Now you can see it returns me just the ABC without the extra space. Okay, let's try another thing. Let's say S equals to A space B space 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 C, the extra space here. Now what happens if I do S dot strip? You can see it just removes the space, like the leading space at the very beginning and the trailing space at the very end. It doesn't touch the space in between. So what if the requirement is I want to remove all the space in this string, right? I just want to keep ABC. What do? I can do S dot replace using the replace function. The target I want to replace is space, and I want to replace it with just two single quotes. So this is an empty string. Now I can get the ABC without any space in between. So now we have learned data type numbers, like int, float, as well as data type string. So now let's look at how we convert number into string and how we convert string into number. First of all, let's say we have a number 5. We want to convert it into a string. All we need to do is str string 5. So now the number 5 is converted to string 5. Now let's say we have a string 3. We want to convert it to an integer. All we need to do is int string 3. As you can see, the result is 3 without the single quote, which means it's an integer. We can also do something similar for float. We can do float. We input a string 3.14. You can see the result is 3.14. That's all for this class. Hope it's useful. Please subscribe and leave me a comment if you have any questions. I will answer it as soon as possible. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.